there, it's Kim Sorges with Not Consumed Ministries, where we help families grow in faith so they are not consumed by life. Today I'm going to show you how to take the digital form of the student record and planner and make it into a notebook. So this is our soft cover version where all of the pieces are together, but we get a lot of questions about how to make the digital version and what some of the options are for making that work for your family. In order to put this together, you're going to need to print out the pages. You're going to need a binder. You're going to need some index dividers with pockets and a handy hole punch. These 3 pages you don't actually need to print: the cover, the copyright, and the morning checklist. The morning checklist is written for children who cannot read yet and do not need the weekly checklist. You can use it for younger kids in your family, but you won't need it for this notebook. Next, there are 5 pages that you want to print in cardstock: the media record and the reading record, the attendance record, the educational snapshot, and the homeschool calendar. We've already begun coloring ours. These are pages that you'll use often and should be a little bit more sturdy. These pages you'll want 1 copy of: the All About Me, the goals, and all of the monthly calendars. I just do these in regular paper. These are the pages you're going to want multiple copies of: the assessment graph, the field trip evaluation, and the weekly checklist. How many copies you want is really up to you. I do 1 assessment graph for every subject, and then sometimes we'll do multiple if we need more spaces. We do 1 field trip evaluation for every field trip. I did 14 for each kid at the beginning of the year. We'll just kind of go from there and see how it goes. Next is the weekly checklist. I did 35 of these. You'll want to do between 35 and 40. So this is the form that the children fill out to show what they're doing. They check here when they have completed it, and then I assign a grade. The cool thing about the digital form is that you can actually enter your specific subjects for each child before printing. My kids love this. They think it's fantastic that they don't have to write it out each time. You can also customize the habits and even the evaluation if you choose to. The first step, of course, is going to be to hole punch all of these pages. And now I'm just going to assemble the notebook. So we need this. We need our pocket dividers. We're going to save that so we can label them here in a minute. We're going to put these in here like this. All right, once you have them in the binder, you're going to want to take your pages and put them in the right place. The first section is going to be the daily section. That's the stuff that we need all the time. In our daily section, we put the attendance record, so we can check that off each day, the media record, and the reading record. We're also going to put the weekly checklists. And when they get finished, they can move to another section. The educational snapshot will go in section 2, as well as all of these other pages. The only thing left to do is to write labels. So we do daily for this one, we do records for the next one, and then we'll do subjects for the other things. So English, math, history, or social studies, and science. We'll just tear those apart and load them in. All right, and now we have each of the subjects, the daily section, the record section, each of the subjects behind it. Now we can have all the records that we need in one binder. Now my kids love to create their own cover. This one Nathan created on the computer on his own. Just for fun, I will show you Leah's for this year. Looks like this. She did some hand lettering. And Rachel drew this by hand from Pinterest. Okay, so that is the easy way to make the digital version of the student record and planner work for you in a binder. Of course, there's a lot of convenience with the soft cover, but my older kids really like it like this in the binder, and I actually prefer it like that too. That's how I originally created it. So it's really up to you which version works best for your family. One last thing, I want to show you how to access the digital files and what to print. When you go to the Not Consumed store, you want to click on Login. Of course, I'm already logged in, and you want to click on your order number and then get to the download button. Click download. And then the file is actually, once you click download here, the file is actually going to show up right here. I've already downloaded it. All you want to do is click on it. It will open up a zip file, which is a folder with 3 options. There's an editable option and one that says for printing. These are the two. They look the same, but they're not the same. The file called for printing is for printing exactly as it says. This is for if you want to send off this file somewhere and have the whole thing printed at once and have it bound to look like a softcover book, just like the one that we have in the store. If you're going to create a notebook like we showed in this video, it would be best to use the editable one. This file is just 1 copy of each page, and you can go in and select how many of each one you want to print. It's a little bit more manageable, it's not as big of a file, and it's easy to work with for this purpose. This final file is the report card or progress report. This is, if you want this form to be editable, you need to leave it separate. That's why it's separate. It is included in the one that's for printing in case you are sending it off to a printer, but it's not included in this one because it is landscape instead of portrait. This will enable you to be able to click on it and fill out the information. Speaking of which, once you open up the file, you always want to open it up in Acrobat Reader. That's very important because that's the best way to edit the files. Then you come in here, and anytime you see a blue box, you can actually change the text. So I can change it to say art, or I can change this one to say history, whatever I would like to type in there. Anytime you see a blue box, you can change those. Then you can print accordingly. One thing you will notice is that it changes on each one of these to make it easy for you to print all of them out at one time. I hope this video was super helpful for you and answered all of your questions about creating the digital form of the student record and planner. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.